Welcome to the design reveal for the Howard County Veterans and Military Families Monument. My name is Robert Gillette. I'm president of the Howard County Veterans Foundation, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this project. The idea for a Veterans Monument in Howard County was first conceived over 10 years ago by the Howard County Commission for Veterans and Military Families, which was an organization formed by the county in 2011 to coincide with the expansion and growth at Fort Meade. At that time, the commission launched the feasibility study with the goal of finding a spot here in the county where a monument could be erected. The commission dreamed one day that Howard County would have its very own monument to pay tribute to the men and women who served our nation. A place to honor those who served in years past, those currently in uniform, and the next generation of Americans who will put on the uniform and take up the cause of freedom and democracy. In 2016, on the heels of the Commission's effort, we started the Howard County Veterans Foundation with a mission to take that dream and bring it to reality. Today, the Foundation, standing alongside members of the Commission, our local VSOs, our American Legion Post 300 and Post 156, our VFW Post 7472, and Marine Corps League Detachment 1084. Those groups, along with elected officials and our community partners, are proud to announce that this vision will soon be realized. Hard to believe that it was only 6 years ago and 3 days we gathered at this very spot, put a stake in the ground, and declared this piece of land to be the future home for the Howard County Veterans and Military Families Monument. In just a few minutes, I will share with you how this idea has grown from a dream to a magnificent piece of art. A monument that was designed by a world-class artist that will honor Howard County's veterans and military families, express gratitude for their service and sacrifice, and recognize that they make possible the freedoms, achievements, and prosperity of our nation and this community. But before I show you that design, I want to recognize some special guests who are with us today. We have our VSO members. If the VSO members would still please raise their hands and be recognized. Thank you for being here. Several members of the Howard County Commission for Veterans and Military Families, if you would please be recognized as well. Members of the Veterans Foundation Board of Directors and Advisory Board. And last, but certainly not least, Ms. Janice Chance, Ms. Paula Davis, Ms. Teresa Carlson, Ms. Donna Robinson, and Stephanie White from Gold Star Moms of America. Thank you for being here. All right, now I'm going to turn the microphone over to some folks that have played an integral part in getting us to where we are today. This project could not happen and would not happen without their support, and I am so thrilled they can join us today. First up is our very own County Executive, Dr. Calvin Ball.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to stand with you here today. Howard County is home to approximately 20,000 veterans who have served our nation. As a proud grandson of a World War II era veteran and the proud son of a Vietnam era veteran, I understand the conviction, the sacrifice, and the courage of those who have served to protect our freedoms, our liberties, and our opportunities. Many of you hear me talk about my father pretty frequently. I'm Calvin III, and he was my best friend and my first hero. He was someone who exemplified what it meant to give back in service to others, our country, our future. Our veterans are the guardians of our freedom and protectors of the way of life we so dearly cherish. We remember our veterans on Veterans Day, and we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice on Memorial Day. It's beyond time that we create a space to remember and honor them each and every day. And Millie Bailey Park is the perfect place for that, here in the heart of Columbia. That's what makes this Veterans Monument so incredibly important for all who live, work, play, and grow in Howard County. Since 2020, I've been honored as your county executive to work with our local government to invest approximately $270,000 to move this project forward. This Howard County Veterans Monument will provide a meaningful space for reflection, connection, and renewed appreciation for the service and sacrifice from our veterans. We could not have reached this point without the many people and organizations working together, and the importance of our veterans to our community cannot be overstated. I want to thank the Veterans Foundation and the state of Maryland for their partnership in bringing this monumental garden to fruition. This monument will be a landmark for all of us to gather, pay tribute to all of our veterans, not only from Howard County, the state of Maryland, but frankly beyond. It will allow us to always honor their service and their duty. And as we send this message to current and future generations, this message will be one of dedication, of duty, and frankly, something that we need now more than ever, of hope and love. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Congressman Sarbanes. It's a real privilege and an honor to be with you today. I want to first of all congratulate all who've brought us to this point. These efforts take a long time. It takes a lot of hands to steer them forward, but this is a very, very important milestone today. I want to thank the Commission for all of its work. I certainly want to salute the Foundation. I also want to acknowledge, again, the Gold Star mothers who are here, who really embody the tribute that we are lifting up today. As the county executive just mentioned, Howard County is home to 20,000 current and former military families. It certainly is the time to begin to lift them up and honor them with this very, very important tribute. Elected officials, community leaders, others who step forward find ways within their own orbit to honor our veterans. And, you know, a few years back, I had the chance, a Gulf War veteran came to our office. He was 100% disabled, service-connected. He had gotten that rating from the VA. He'd gotten his VA benefits, but when he went to Social Security Administration to get his disability there was a whole process that he had to go through again that took another 2 years, even though he had that 100% rating. So we went to work to try to expedite the process at Social Security, and after a couple years we were successful. And now if you get that 100% rating at VA, you can carry that certificate in effect across to Social Security. They can process you much more quickly for disability benefits. That came to me through constituent service, a veteran coming to us and saying, "Can you help?" And then we understood there was a pattern and we could try to intervene and make a difference. Those are the kinds of things all of these community leaders, elected officials are doing every single day. They're finding ways to make sure we do right by our veterans and our military families. Recently we passed in Congress the Honoring Our Pact Act, which is to bring billions of dollars of benefits to support veterans that were exposed to toxic substances during their service. And we recently committed $14 billion on a bipartisan basis to address mental health needs among our veterans. So these are examples. At every level of government, at every level of community engagement, we have to reach out and support our veterans. That's exactly what you're doing here today. So again, congratulations on taking this very important step I imagine that many of those who served would say of the people they served with what Calvin just said a moment ago about his father, that they were his best friend and first hero. And so we're lifting up those friends and those heroes who step forward in service to our country and make such an incredible difference. This is a great day. Congratulations.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm State Senator Clarence Lam, representing the Howard County delegation. I want to acknowledge that we do have a few of our folks here representing the delegation, their members as well. We have Sharon Bailey in the back representing Delegate Terry Hill in District 12A, as well as Sierra Melbrecht representing Delegate Jessica Feldmark here in 12A as well. So I want to thank Mr. Gillette and all the members of the foundation and the commissions and the families who were able to come together to make this happen. This is an incredible day to be able to unveil this really important monument for our community here. We have, as the county executive mentioned, so many veterans and families here in Howard County. And for a community in a county of our size, we are overdue for a place like this to be able to come to reflect, to recognize, appreciate, and honor those who served our nation and who were willing to put their lives on the line to do so. It's a moment to reflect on the contributions of individuals like Vivian Millie Bailey, who we and our veteran and service community miss dearly, who right up until she passed just less than a year ago at the age of 104, continued to work tirelessly for our veterans, preparing care packages and other items of meaning for our community. And so it's not only fitting that her personal papers and artifacts were transferred here to the Columbia Archives, but we now have a place to reflect and honor her service here in the heart of Columbia at the Vivian Bailey Park. And so, of course, central to that park is this monument, this Veterans Monument, with many hands and efforts that played into an important part in making this happen. Want to again acknowledge all of those families and community members who played large and small roles. And without your tireless effort and dedication, this would not be coming together. But as with many things related to service and serving, it does take many partners. And on behalf of our delegation, I'm pleased to be able to announce that we have, over the last 3 years, the delegation has secured $1.5 million in state funding for this monument. And that's through multiple legislative bond initiatives that we put through and put forward through the General Assembly, and also recognizing that it takes many partners, as well as our partners at the county level, like the county executive mentioned, and the county council, to make this occasion happen. And at a time of increasing division and fragmentation, service to our country is still incredibly important. And it's not only important for our safety and our security, but veterans are a cause that is unifying for our community, that we can all get behind, that brings us all together, that they are individuals that we all care about and want to be able to recognize. So it's only fitting that we would have this monument here in downtown Columbia at the lakefront, at a location only steps away from the People Tree and from a memorial for Jim Rouse, at another opportunity for us to all come together as a community, because our veteran community is certainly deserving of this recognition. So on behalf of the Howard County delegation, I'd like to extend our appreciation for the tireless efforts for those of you who made this happen, and we look forward to this unveiling of the monument this morning. Thank you so much.
Well, good morning. My name is Greg Jolisaint, and I'm the chair for the Howard County Commission for Veterans and Military Families. Now, that's an interesting name because if you look at our surrounding counties, most of them are commissions on veterans. But this commission, from its inception, has been a commission designed for veterans and military families. And I have more to say about that in a few minutes. Now, there's some who would ask, why do we even need a monument when only 1% of the active force, the reserve force and the National Guard, only 1% of our nation chooses to put on a uniform since we became an all-volunteer force back in the 1970s? Well, I can tell you that our commissioners, the veterans that you see in the audience, and our family members would tell you that is exactly why we need a monument designed to show the sacrifice and service of our service members and their families. Because these military volunteers ensure the rights, liberties, and freedoms of the remaining 99% of the population who either chose not to serve or they actually could not serve. They perform those hard duties and the difficult work that very few of our citizens will ever understand. And sometimes they develop some adverse health issues. You heard Congressman Sarbanes talk about the PACT Act, from those exposures that they had when they were overseas. And a small number of them actually pay that ultimate sacrifice. So if you could, join me in a round of applause for the Gold Star moms. So this monument will be a small tribute and a small thank you to their service and sacrifice, as well as the service and sacrifice of their families. Now, let me make sure we all understand this tribute. When we say veterans, we're not just talking about all the old geezers like me out here in the audience. We're talking about our current military service members, active, reserve, and guard, as well as those who have honorably served and wore the uniform of one of our 6 services in their past. They got paid for their military service, and many of those who formerly served either collect a retirement check or, as Congressman Sarbanes noted, collect a VA disability check, and if they get real lucky, they get their Social Security check at the same time. But as we all know, we have a fair number of Vietnam veterans who are still suffering from PTSD, who are still suffering from Agent Orange and its effects on their health. And then you compare them to the veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan who had multiple 6 and 12-month deployments. And when you talk to their family members, they will tell you he has spent more time or she has spent more time overseas than they have spent at home. I know my neighbors better than I know my spouse or partner service member. Fortunately, most veterans do come home safely, but a fair percentage of them do come home with either visible or invisible wounds of war. Now let's take a look at those family members. The family members of military service members are most often those immediate family members that we're used to. The spouse, the partner, the children, the stepchildren. There's a lot of blended families in the military. They move with their military service member from base to base, and when that service member deploys, that spouse or partner becomes the father and the mother. They take over all the duties. They become an amateur plumber. They take the pets to the veterinarian. They're responsible for everybody's immunizations. They do everything for their family. And occasionally they even find themselves fixing bicycles for their kids. But they don't get paid for those duties, either the primary duties that they have every day or the additional duties they get when their service member deploys. And when that service member returns with health issues related to their deployment or mental health issues related to their deployment, the entire family is impacted by that. So you don't have to deploy to have post-traumatic stress. You can be a family member of a service member with post-traumatic stress to have been impacted by that. And those children, I was a military child. I got 3 different state histories and it was all BS, by the way, those state histories. It wasn't the truth. It was the romanticized version of state history. And I had to take classes with underclassmen because I missed classes that were part of the standard curriculum in the state that I went to. And that is the very common experience for military kids who go to school. Quite a few of them graduate from a high school that is their second high school. So there's this repetitive making new friends, getting involved in new communities, getting involved in new sports. A lot of these kids have mental health issues of their own, And we need to be able to support them as a community. We need to be able to support them as a commission. So it is indeed fitting today that Howard County has an office specifically designed for military service members, veterans, and military families. And it's equally fitting for the county to have this monument, because many veterans and their family members do live in Howard County. And not only do they live here, they go to school here, they work here, and they pay taxes here, right, for all the elected officials here. So. And despite their lack of pay, these family members also serve and sacrifice, and they deserve our efforts to make them feel valued and welcome, and they deserve this monument whose design will be revealed in a very few minutes. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this historic event. Thanks for allowing an old soldier to muse on about why we need to be here today. Thank you for coming out to see this long overdue tribute to Howard County's veterans and military families. May God bless our veterans, our family members, and may God bless America.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shelby Rogers. I'm the post commander for American Legion Columbia Post 300, and I've also commanded VFW Post 7472. Today I have the distinct honor of representing all the VSOs of the Veteran Service Organizations at this revealing of the Howard County Veterans Monument. Our motto for the Columbia Post 300 is serving the youth and veterans of Howard County. There are presently 5 or 6, I'll say 6 because one of them is going away, VSOs located in Howard County. The American Legion Post 300, commanded by me. Post 156 have a new commander. It used to be Ed Hall, the outgoing commander. They're located in Columbia and Ellicott City, respectively. The Marine Corps League commanded Detachment 1084, commanded by Commander William Swain, and the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Group, commanded by Sam Hall. The VFW Post 7472 has an auxiliary, which now, as many of you know, also it's a combined force of men and women. All of our VSOs have similar mottos, which is to care for those who are born the battle and for their families and survivors. As VSOs, it is our duty to use everything in our arsenal to make that happen. If we can't make it happen, we'll contact other VSOs in and outside of our area in order to get the job done. Before I proceed further, I'll give you a little of my history. Prior to moving to Columbia after serving 26 years in the Army, I retired in 1988 as a Sergeant Major E9. I moved to Columbia a few days after retirement. My final duty station in the Army was the 8th Medical Brigade located at Fort Hamilton, New York, which is, at that time, was the largest brigade in the military because of what we did. At that time, most brigades were authorized around 5,000 troops, 5,000 to 6,000 troops. This brigade was authorized 8,000 troops, 62, composed of 62 individual medical units, all under its control, located all over the state of New York. Some of my speeches have been usurped by some of the other speeches. I won't repeat those. That's good. Okay. Now, the cooperation of all VSOs, including the American Legion Post 156, 300, VFW Post 7472 and its auxiliary, the MCL, which is the Marine Corps League Detachment 1084, and we also have a combat motorcycle group consisting mostly of Vietnam veterans, and that has made all the cooperation between your unit made what we're looking at today happen. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Wanda Riddle, Bob Gillette, and Lisa Terry for inviting me to speak for all the Howard County VSOs at this very auspicious occasion. I would also like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Your being here means an awful lot to all the veterans who live and work in Howard County. Now they will know that their sacrifices were not in vain. Not that Howard County is not already a force to be reckoned with, but now this really puts us on the map. Now all of those people from outside of Columbia who visit Columbia Town Center will have a lot to think about when they view this Veterans Monument upon its completion sometime in the very near future. I thank you all very much.
So good morning. My name is Greg Fitchett, and I'm happy to be an honor to be here today on behalf of the Howard Hughes Corporation to celebrate the vision of a Veterans and Military Families Monument here at the Columbia Lakefront. Like others with relatives and friends who've served in the military, I'm happy and proud that Howard County will soon have its own monument to honor the service of Howard County veterans and their families. The Howard Hughes Corporation is proud of its role in creating what we have behind here, Vivian C. Bailey Park, already a popular playground honoring its namesake, Miss Millie, a World War II veteran who was a shining example of service to community and to country. The monument will be a tremendous addition to Bailey Park. Howard County families love to gather here at the lakefront, soon to be the site of the annual 4th of July celebration for our nation's independence. It's fitting that this beautiful spot will be a place where returning veterans can be together with the families who missed them while they were serving in active duty. A place that celebrates their service, a place that celebrates the values for which they served, including our First Amendment rights to free speech and to peaceably assemble. As we all remember, the lakefront has been the focal point of huge public gatherings, and no doubt it will do so again. This is intended to be a true public space. It will always be a free speech zone, and it will always be a space to honor those who give so much of themselves to protect those rights for the rest of us. We're grateful for the leadership of our county executive, Dr. Ball, and for the partnership of other elected leaders and members of the Veterans Commission. We're thankful for the funding support of the county and the state and others to help make the Howard County Veterans and Military Families Monument a reality. And I personally am very excited to see the upcoming design reveal. So, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dennis Mattey. I am the interim president and CEO of the Columbia Association. I'd like to start and end very simply and say thank you. I like to believe that I won the location lottery in life, but that's only possible by the service of the people that are here, the people in the military, who have given so much to enable me to even say that. Columbia has a long history of working with the Howard County Veterans Foundation on the 4th of July parade and celebration, and we look forward to doing that in the future. The CA is very proud to own and maintain the open space. Columbia is remarkable, the lakefront is remarkable, and will be made even more remarkable by the addition of the memorial that will be right behind me. I'd like to think that everyone here recognizes how many people went before us to make this happen, because there were so many that did so much for us. I certainly recognize that. And I'd like to, in anticipation of the, so we are so very excited to be part of this. We are so very excited to have this in the, or adjacent to the open space and to be connected to it. And, we have a number of events that are going to happen down at the lakefront that are free. We'd like to welcome everyone to come down and attend. And for anyone that's listening, specifically July 4th and Veterans Day, we'd like to welcome everyone to come down to any number of events that take place down here on the open space. Again, thank you for your service.
All right, thank you everyone for your patience as we move through all this. We really are a special place, and we're so fortunate to have so many tremendous community leaders. You know, putting together a project such as this is no small task. It's taken many years and many hours to come to this point. But one of the toughest challenges we faced was finding the right artist. You know, I personally don't know any world-renowned artisans that can pull off something as spectacular as we want to put here. So we worked with some who do, and we came across Larry Kirkland. From the moment I first met Larry, I knew he was the right person for this project. Larry has firsthand experience as a military kid, being the son of a career Navy man. Go Navy. During one of our meetings, he quipped, "I was in the Navy for 18 years. Then I graduated high school." So Some of Larry's other projects include work on the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania World War II Memorial, the American Red Cross Memorial, and the Disabled Americans Veterans for Life Memorial, both of those in Washington, D.C. You can read more about Larry and his work at larrykirkland.com. All right, are you ready to see what we got? Bring them on up. What you will see is nothing short of spectacular. When I first saw the initial concepts, I was blown away. When I saw the final images, I was moved to tears. Now, getting here involved many more people than just Larry Kirkland and the Veterans Foundation. We received input from many community stakeholders. We had an open forum for our veterans to give their feedback. We even got Mrs. Bailey's approval for what we're going to do here today. And those of you that know Miss Bailey, I'm sure you know she had a lot to offer. To take the concept to a final design, we convened a design advisory panel consisting of individuals from the Commission for Veterans and Military Families, our veteran service organizations, military family members, Blue Star Families of America, the Maryland Gold Star Mothers, and the Howard County Arts Council. There was a group of 11 individuals who volunteered an entire day and collaborated to work specifically on the words and quotes that will be engraved onto the monument. So I would ask the members of the advisory panel that are here to please raise your hand and be recognized. Can't thank you enough for your work. So all this input was collected, reviewed, and discussed, and acted upon, resulting in the design you see today. A monument is grand in stature as the individuals it honors. So let me walk you through the design real quick, because each piece has a special meaning. So we have chosen a multi-dimensional star that rests on a reflecting pond. The flowing water represents the tears shed and the blood spilled. But water is also a symbol of healing, cleansing, and renewal. The monument is a place for individuals and families to come and reflect on the service and sacrifice of our veterans, our active military members, and their families. That gentle sound of running water creates a serene and tranquil environment, allowing a moment of reflection free from distraction. Along the rim of the reflecting pond are 3 quotes. Quotes that capture the essence of why we serve, the duty to honor those who serve, and recognizing the true value of our military families. Resting atop the reflecting pond is the community star. This star honors the community who rally around our military and their families when someone is deployed. And we heard Greg talk quite a bit about that impact. The 10 faces on the community star are engraved with words that reflect the character and virtues of service in the military. So you see, when someone deploys, it's not just the sailor, soldier, airman, or Marine who serve. There are moms and dads, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, grandparents, and children who also serve. And then there's the community that rally to their side. It's why we call it our military family. The next element is the blue star to represent our veterans and their families. It is a long-standing tradition for families to hang a blue star when they have a loved one deployed. We honor that tradition with this element. The star is slanted at an angle, pointing upward towards the heavens, symbolizing the countless prayers lifted, prayers given by all for a safe and joyful reunion. All of us have seen videos of veterans coming home and reuniting with their families at high school sports events and birthday parties. These videos evoke different emotions. For some, they bring a feeling of patriotism and pride, and nothing short of total gratitude for those sacrifices made. For an old sailor like me, they bring back emotions I felt when my ship returned from sea and I reunited with my family. Yet for some, our Gold Star families, they bring a sense of loss and a longing for a reunion that simply won't happen. Every time, Janice. Which is why at the center of the monument is the gold star. This sacred element, lined with gold leaf, captures the memory of those who have given their life in service to our country. The gold star is created from a hollowed out portion of the blue star to symbolize the hole in our hearts created by their loss. The gold star is placed at the center of the monument because they are forever at the center of our hearts and minds. The Gold Star is positioned to allow the sun to light it up and make it shine as bright as their memory. Okay. Monuments such as these are once-in-a-lifetime projects. These pieces of art are built to last for hundreds of years. They are also costly. And Cole is going to bring up the numbers. It is estimated that this project will cost a total of $2.75 million. Now, we've been fortunate to receive generous donations from several different organizations. As Dr. Lam said, the state of Maryland has given $1.5 million. As you heard from Dr. Ball, the county has provided a total of $295,000 in grants, and we have raised over $51,000 so far in private donations from individuals, corporations, and other organizations. But to achieve our goal of 2.75, we are asking for your support. The money raised will go towards materials for the monument itself, engineering and construction costs, operating costs for the foundation, as well as an endowment fund for long-term care and maintenance. Even with the generous donations we've received already, we still need to raise another $1 million. If you are so inclined, we ask you to make a donation. Go to howardcountyveterans.org and donate today. Join our mailing list and follow our social media platforms. Share them with your friends and neighbors. Together, we can turn that 2011 dream into a reality. Together, we will create a space for everyone to sit and reflect on the profound cost of service. Together, we will create a place where people can honor every veteran and military family in our community. We will build that sacred place where everyone will feel free to pause, offer a prayer, and simply say, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you all being here. God bless.